What's up, everybody? Welcome to Hammerdown Motorsports. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. We are out today on this cloudy Friday out in the Super Duty F350 Platinum, and you can hear our mud tires just humming away, but it's kind of a trade-off for the look that you get with a mud tire. But I absolutely love them. I think they're pretty well worth that little bit of noise. But we're cruising down the highway, putting the gap on most people because, well, we can. That's what I love about this truck. I mean, there's one thing that I did notice, and well, with the Cummins, I know I'm saying the Cummins word around the power stroke, which the power stroke guys I found don't like. But with that truck, you turn on the cruise control and you put the negative, I think it is, and it would high idle. So you can put high idle on at any temperature, no big deal. Very, very easy to do. There is kits, I think BD Diesel has a high idle kit for this truck. So you can just turn it on and you can set it at different RPMs, which is nice. But I did find today it's a little bit colder. It is, 54 degrees on the clock right now. It feels colder, it's really windy, but it does high idle on its own. So it was sitting at 1,000 RPM when I had it idling when I was in the house, grabbing the stuff I needed for my camera and whatnot. So yeah, I came outside and it was high idled. So at least that's nice that it has something at least there before we get an actual high idle kit, which I'm going to put on the Christmas list. It's nothing I need right now, but we're going to put that on the old Christmas list because people never know what to buy me. So why not diesel stuff? That's always a good thing to buy me for Christmas. So the reason we're out on the road today is we are going over to my buddy Grant's shop, KW Tire, and we are going to be putting on the track bar, because if you guys don't know, we did put the 2-inch level kit on this truck, and when you lift a solid axle with a level spacer, the track bar is not adjustable, so that stays the same length. You bring the axle down 2 inches, it actually goes off center. So what you want to do is correct that by either putting a drop bracket for your factory track bar, or with Rough Country, they send me an adjustable one. So we can just put it in the factory bracket and adjust it to length, and we should have our axle nice and centered. So we're going to put that in today, check the alignment. I mean, solid axles, they're not too bad as far as getting the alignment after the lift kit, depending on how big you go. Sometimes you got to do caster blocks or whatever if you're changing pinion angles. There's a lot of things that go into suspension geometry, but a 2-inch isn't really a big deal. I think the track bar adjustment should get us going where we need to be, but we are going to get that checked. I need to get my stickers for Pennsylvania because I bought this in Maryland. And yeah, that's pretty much our mission for today, get a little bit done on the Super Duty. So we're going to bring you guys along for that. Hopefully they're all good with us filming in the shop, not too sure, but I don't think it should be a problem. So we are getting towards the end of October. It's almost Halloween, so yeah, Christmas is around the corner. So what is on your Christmas list for your Super Duty? I mean, I think I got a few people in the crowd now that watch the channel for the Super Duty content. We are going to be back to the Ram stuff, so don't worry about that for the Ram people. We're not getting rid of the Ram, and if we did, we would just probably get another Chrysler product. We definitely want to keep a Mopar in the group, and well, I do have the Dart, and we do have the 95 Ram, but I definitely like to have something for variety on the channel. And really the Super Duty did give me that opening where I can kind of get into the Ford market. That's kind of why I went this way, and I do truly believe in the quality of this 6.7 liter Power Stroke. I think it's an awesome engine, and I think they really finally did it right, because they got away from the international 6.4s, 6.0s. They were just terrible. But this engine is 10 years old already, so it's pretty proven. They've had some issues in the beginning, but that's to be expected. But I think this one, 2020 plus, they really have started to dial this thing in. But now, so you want to put stuff on your Christmas list for your 6.7. I have a couple of things that I want to do, and drop in the comments what your thoughts on these would be and whether you would want to do them right away or if this is something that you would even consider. I want to get I think it's SNS has the disaster prevention kit that I want to get. SPE has one as well, but I have heard, and this is just through the forums and whatever, that a guy had a CP4 pump blow up and it went right through the screen. So I'm not sure about that exact situation or whatever, but I did hear about that. Not to say SPE is a bad system, I don't really know a whole lot about it, but SNS has one that has a changeable filter, and that's what I like. I mean, you can change the little mini kegs on the SPE, but I think I'm going to go for the one that has the big filter. It's a little bit easier to get at. It's like $30 for their filter, and you can just pop the lines off, and you have a little bracket that kind of goes and filters your return fuel, because you don't want to have that CP4 blow up and then have all that shrapnel and whatever go through your system. So for $400, I think it's a really nice insurance policy, and I think that filter that comes with the S&S is the one I'm going to go with, just because I think it's going to be able to catch that fuel a lot easier than just those little screens in the mini kegs. But I mean, I'm no engineer, and I don't have much experience with them. It's just kind of the two systems I saw, and it's kind of where I want to go with that. Also, filtration. The filters on these trucks, you can switch them over to a Cat or a Baldwin filter, and there's adapters available. I think I'm going to be going with H&S Motorsports. They have a bunch of different, well, they have a couple different adapters, so you can do the one for your one that's on the tank, and then you can do the one that's up top as well. And that's going to allow you to not have to use the factory filter, and it should make things a lot easier and probably a little bit cheaper in the long run. And another thing on my Christmas list is a CCV reroute. So what we're going to do is actually take off the crankcase ventilation system that just puts that dirty, oily air back into your system. We're going to remove that, and we're actually going to run a draft tube. So we're going old school, the old blow-by tube on the truck, and just kind of get rid of that system. I know that they had filters in some of the earlier models, and they can get plugged up, and that can cause massive crankcase pressure and then end up blowing up seals and whatever, and especially with a two-piece oil pan on these trucks and crank seals and all that. You don't want to end up pushing those out by having too much pressure in your crankcase system. Not to mention, you don't want your engine breathing that dirty air if it doesn't have to. So I mean, yeah, it's an emissions thing, but it's nothing that's going to throw a code. There's no sensor on it. It's just one of those things that you can't do it from the factory, so you do it later. We're currently not doing a muffler delete because I don't want to get into that at the moment. I think that just some of these little mods to make this truck run a little bit better, especially because right now we're having 1,220 miles on the truck, so it hasn't had a lot of time to build up any gunk in our air system, so our intercooler, our charge piping, all that kind of thing. You don't want to have all that oily disgustingness just coating that system and then end up going into your engine and caking everything up. So that would be why I would get rid of the CCV system and try to make things a little bit better for our 6.7. Here we got Grant. We're gonna put a camera in his face.
Oh yeah, nothing I'm not used to.
What do you think of the new truck?
It's very nice.
You like this better than the Ram?
It's
No?
too quiet.
Yeah, we need to do a muffler delete on this
Yes.
thing. Makes them a lot more rowdy.
Yeah, way too quiet.
We'll
But interior is freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely.
Definitely a more cushy.
Oh yeah.
So we'll get that new track bar in. Hopefully that'll center up the axle and we won't rub. It's going to be close either way. I mean, it rubs a little bit on the driver's side right now, but
Tire lights on too.
so when you ride on 80 psi, it's a little rough. So that's why I turned it down. Mirrors go in if you want.
Yeah, fine.
Button there.
Got it, brother.
Check that out. Look at that. You don't even have to know how to drive anymore.
No, the thing's huge. This is the one that has the trailer assist too.
Yeah.
Where it literally like backs up.
Yeah,
backs
but
the trailer
you have
for
to like put a box on your trailer and you have to calibrate it.
there.
It's like, yeah, it's a whole thing. It's not
Yeah,
plug
that's
and play
ridiculous.
as they would like you to think.
Huh. Nice.
What up, dude?
What up? Oh shit! Didn't know he was recording.
People love when there's a camera in their face.
Oh no, that like it freaks them out.
Like
all the
what?
time.
All right, so we got our nice lights on the lift here. These are sweet. Actually, if I ever get a drive-on lift, I'm definitely going to have to get something like this. But not obviously the alignment rack, that would run me a little bit of money, but having these lights is pretty sweet. You can see our track bar up there. A lot of times there's a bracket that'll drop that end down, and it goes around over to that joint right there. And what we're going to do now with our new rough country one is we're going to be able to change the length of that and straighten up this axle, and everything should run nice and true. So here we have the unit from rough country. This is a forged track bar. Grant's got the instructions.
I actually read the instructions unlike some other people.
Yeah, usually I'll go to the instructions for reference when I'm stuck. What could possibly go wrong, right?
We'll be all right.
Nothing should be rusted on it, at least.
No. Although the threads are starting to get low.
Oh, I know. Like, yeah, I have to go underneath this truck, and you can see on the knuckle there's a little bit. If you go over here to the drive shaft, starting to get a little bit crusty. So we're going to go underneath this truck and just kind of go over it with some paint, give it a little bit of protection before we drive in any kind of salt. But that is what you have to deal with a new truck. So obviously it is just the one bolt up there, and then you have your little stud that goes over to the other side, kind of the ball joint. So you definitely want to change these out if you are running a level kit, just because it is going to change the angle of that ball joint, and then you're going to end up with some premature wear, and you don't want to have that. So it was something I was going to do, but I figured, hey, we're coming here to see Grant, so we might as well get the old alignment checked and get it all sorted out.
Yeah, let's have a nice big old
Grant likes working on this stuff anyway, right?
Yeah, clean, nice, new stuff.
Definitely.
Don't have to worry about nothing.
So if Ford would have made this adjustable, then we wouldn't need the one from Rough Country, but it's a good thing there's a Rough Country out there, because now we have options.
Didn't even need a big old hammer.
Oh, the old.
Schmancy.
Oh, the old rusty thing. All of 1,200 miles. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you are in Pennsylvania and you have bare metal. So it's always a good idea to put a little bit of anti-seize on those threads, especially as you can see how much rust has already started on this truck. Keep that thing from freezing in there if you ever have to adjust it again. All right, so our new track bar is in. We got this end tightened. We do have our factory bolt up there, and we just have to adjust it, and then we'll tighten down the clamps on the sleeve, and we should be good to go. I can't imagine how it would be like 14 wides. Like,
Oh, jeez.
yeah,
You couldn't even see out your window because it's flinging everywhere.
yeah, you'd never get the truck clean.
I don't know what sort of weird people would do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. SEMA life. Speaking of SEMA, I think that's going on now, isn't it?
Yes, sir. Everybody's heading out.
Oof. See, I could be in Vegas right now, but instead, I'm in Lancaster in the rain. Oh well, maybe next year. Yeah, a little rubbish.
But
That's all right. I was gonna wait until we center the axle until I clearanced anything, but it's really not that big a deal.
it's like so, and that's like almost full lock.
Yeah.
Is it even
How often?
Just regular turning, you're not even anywhere close.
Yeah, it's not nearly like it was.
That's good.
But I definitely wanted to keep the mud flaps, keep all that junk out of the power boards best I can. I mean,
yeah, we had a car was that yesterday. Whole inner fender well's out. He's got all this aftermarket wiring, just
nice.
literally hanging about a foot away from the tire.
Oh yeah, just wrap it around the exhaust.
Seemed like a really good idea. That's right. Somebody else had a U-Haul hitch installed on their car and had all the wiring wrapped to every single moving part in the rear.
Oh, cool.
Like literally zip tied to all the moving parts.
Just how you keep it all together.
Yeah.
So if you guys are wondering, we're in Lancaster, Pennsylvania at K&W Tire. So if you need alignment work, or pretty much you guys do tires and general
full
everything,
service.
full service.
Pretty much full service.
So if you need automotive repairs in the Lancaster area, come see Grant and
Yes,
he'll
sir.
hook you up. And if you made it this far in the video, definitely go into the comment section and put track bar so I know you made it this far in the video and I can interact with you guys there. And we'll see you in the next one. All right, so now I had an opportunity to drive the truck for a few miles. Everything is nice and straight. The wheel is now straight again. So yes, if you did put a level kit in your truck, you definitely want to be able to correct those angles just so you don't have any premature wear and all that kind of stuff. So big thanks to Rough Country for sending us out our adjustable forged track bar, and a big thanks to Grant over at KW Tire for getting everything straightened out and aligned for us. And now we should be good to go for a long time to come. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And as always, keep that hammer down.